Movies! So yeah, Monday night, we managed to film Spider-Gwen. It was really cool. So much thanks to Bravo Media, you know, these guys that I did some VR stuff with for Late Show with Stephen Colbert, for letting us use their green screen studio, which I think usually costs like $2,500 a day to rent. And they're just like, yeah, come in after hours. You can use all of our equipment and lights and all that stuff in this beautiful curved green screen wall. And yeah, it was Beryl, it was Julianne, it was Tom Leverett, who, you know, had the apartment that we filmed my Sims film in, and Alex Orowski, and Chris Wade from New York Magazine came over to give us his Canon C300, which was a really cool camera that I was afraid to touch, and thank God Tom was there, because he was able to operate it and understand how to use it, do white balance, all that kind of stuff. So we were there for, I guess we were allowed to start at 6, I got there at like 6:05, everyone else got there around 6:45 or so. Tom had to leave at 8:30. Tom left, and then after he was gone, I felt like we could be a little bit more silly, because he's like the consummate professional, wants everything to be bam, 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 let's not waste any time, let's get stuff done. And after he left, I felt like, oh, let's use up the rest of the battery and just do some sillier stuff, some more free-flowing stuff, let's explore. And so we did some more fight scene stuff, then all stuff that wasn't, you know, in the shot list, in the script. We did some fight scene stuff, we did some stuff with alternate ways to reveal the costume. The costume turned out really well. I look forward to seeing what people's responses to that. I do wish I had mentioned to Beryl and Julianne to focus on the mask first, since a lot of the shots we're doing are you know, face stuff, but the mask looks fine. I do feel sad that we aren't going to be seeing more of the rest of the costume, because they did such a beautiful job on the, you know, all the patterning on the back and all that, but I might find a way to use that in some of these shots we got at the end. But it was a good filming session. I don't think Tom was too frustrated by the thing, which is good, because I think in any kind of unprofessional situation, I don't think he has any qualms about being like, guys, come on, get your shit together. But I printed out all the shots we wanted on paper. I had them playing on my laptop just in loops, so it was very easy for us to be able to match composition and lighting and all that. That being said, I don't think we did a great job of matching the lighting. There's a lot of scenes with very high contrast in the movie that were way too evenly lit, now that I've been looking at the footage and editing it a little bit this week. And so I'm trying to figure out in After Effects what the best way is to add basically shadow in a way that doesn't look too crappy, because you can add lights in After Effects, which creates like a fake shadow and all that, but I think it looks really fake. Maybe to the untrained eye it looks fine, but I'm just not quite sure how I'm going to be handling this. Like, I might do just some color correction with like a really feathered mask around the edge, like where this side's a lot darker, and that just might be like a manual animation thing. I started playing with the Roto Bezier tool, by the way. This is all just After Effects talk for anyone who doesn't care. Skip ahead a couple minutes. But the Roto Bezier tool is kind of a cool alternative to manually, you know, changing the mask shape when you're trying to change colors or trace around something through a video. And it seems like the Roto Bezier tool seems to do a pretty good job of following shapes and patterns. So if I, you know, draw a line around an arm, and then I cut to 5 frames later and the arm is like this, and then I adjust all the vertices to be around that arm, it does a pretty good job in between with those other frames of interpolating what's going on there. So I wish I'd been using that from the beginning, because I had some more kind of choppy cuts of things. But yeah, it's been really fun working on this. It's such a treat to feel really confident about like the shape of the trailer, and now just kind of fine-tuning the visual effects shots of it. I really hope I get it done before the baby comes. One cool thing is there's a shot we did of Spider-Gwen running along a wall. So for that, I wanted to take Spider-Man out of the shot, which, you know, it's like a tracking shot where the camera's moving along a wall. And originally I was like, oh, maybe I can just take 2 background plates and kind of camera match them inside. So I'd like paint out Spider-Man in the first frame and the last frame, and then kind of merge the two together and use that. But the problem is, because the camera is, you know, turning, you're getting a change in focal depth or something like that, field of view, and so that didn't really work. But I forgot that in Photoshop you can actually import a video, and using their incredible content aware tool you can paint things out, or in this case where I needed more continuity frame to frame, because the content aware tool will always look good within its context, but it's not going to be consistent frame to frame when things are shifting a little bit. So what I ended up doing, which worked really well, good technique for the future, maybe I'll make a tutorial, is taking each frame and using the clone tool and cloning an area that is correct and blank and doesn't involve Spider-Man in one frame, then going to a frame where Spider-Man is covering that area, and then kind of matching like a point that's pretty easy to find, like a hard edge, and then painting over it there. So it wasn't perfect. If you look really closely at the finished product, I'm sure you'll be able to tell there's something wonky going on, but I think it worked out pretty well. It wasn't that hard to do. It was like, 25 frames. It's just a second long running along the wall shot, but I think it'll look pretty good, I think. So anyway, yeah, just little by little going through all these different effects. I've got 3 different like reveals of the costume, not sure which one I'm going to pick. I've done pretty well going through painting over some of the visual effect shots with Spider-Man that I'm changing into Spider-Gwen. Those are actually looking better than I expected, especially now that I'm using the Roto Bezier tool. Yeah, so that's been cool. I'm really enjoying where this goes. I hope it's done soon. Filming again was great. I really hope to have more opportunities to do stuff like that in the future. I really love also working with the WACTS crew, like these people that I did theater with in school. There's such a cool satisfaction to that, and my dream is really to have enough freelance projects, enough creative things going on that I can kind of farm all these out to my friends and collaborate with them, because I have so many underemployed, really talented friends who have the motivation and the desire to work hard and make really cool stuff. They just don't have anyone paying them to do it, or they don't have the time to do it on their own time. So anything I can do to get more people involved with that kind of stuff, I'd love to do. On a similar note, Alex Horowski, incredibly talented motion graphic artist who I went to architecture school with. Actually, we did the Cornell summer architecture program way back in 2004. Wow, 2004, 11 years ago, that's when we met. He had blue hair then. He is a really talented guy in After Effects and animation and that kind of stuff. So I'm having him help me with a couple shots that I don't necessarily know what I want to do. So it's great to be able to just be like, hey Alex, do something cool. So he's got something really cool for the title, the reveal of the actual Spider-Gwen title, and then he helped me figure out what I wanted to do for the title cards of like, next summer, coming to your movie screen, a movie. It doesn't actually say that, but you get the idea. Yeah, so Spider-Gwen, I really hope it's done before the baby comes. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think when it finally comes out. Oh, and just for the heck of it, in the video section, I'll just throw in an update of what it looks like now if you go to the outro of this week, just so you can see, the way things are progressing. Yeah. Oh, and I guess I did watch a movie this week. Last night I watched, while working on Spider-Gwen, Detachment, an interesting movie I hadn't heard anything about. Came out in 2011, with starring Adrien Brody, has also Christina Hendricks, Bryan Cranston, a bunch of other actors I recognize from various things. And it was, in an interesting way, like an alternate kind of take on, I think, what the message was of Teacher of the Year, the movie Liz and I watched last week about the teacher trying to determine, if he wants to stay teaching or go and become a lobbyist. The thing these two movies share in common is they're both about teachers with noble intentions who really want to do good, dealing with a group of students, a bureaucracy, people in the classroom that just have no desire to learn, and how do you deal with those things? What's interesting about this movie was it started out being very much about Adrien Brody as a teacher at this, school full of kids that have no trouble spitting in his face, disrespecting him, that kind of stuff. And then it became much more actually about a relationship that he was forming with like a local young prostitute. And when I say relationship, I mean in that he's trying to help her. Reminds me a little bit of like Jodie Foster's character in Taxi Driver, that kind of thing. But that was kind of an interesting thing to explore. It was a super depressing movie. There was almost no lightness, no breaks of the tension, but very well done, very well acted, great cast. Yeah, I'd give it a solid 4 stars. 4 stars with a confidence of 3, because again, it's one of these things that I was only half paying attention to as I'm working on my Spider-Gwen stuff. Movies.